started. And this is probably the most important thing I'm going to tell you today, because I know this is one of the sticking points for so many people. So here it is. The niche really doesn't matter. There are hundreds of niches out there, thousands of sub-niches, probably hundreds of thousands of sub-niches. And when I say sub-niche, I mean, well, I'll show you. For example, I went to the main page of OfferVault, right? And I just looked right here. Look at all these niches, right? People are typing this in. These are live searches. Earlier when I went on, I saw somebody typed in anti-aging, and I said, okay, I'll search for that. So I put in anti-aging, and I hit search, and a bunch of stuff came up. What does that tell me? Well, there's a bunch of stuff I can sell to make money with anti-aging. Great. Well, what am I going to do with it? Well, the first thing I did was I took this first product, and I clicked on KW for keywords, all right? And you guys are all OfferVault members. If you're not, you know, well, you wouldn't be here if you're not, but it is free. And you just go to the keyword. This is what I clicked on earlier. I kind of tried to open as many windows as possible because you never know what's going to go wrong on a webinar. And there are a bunch of keywords here. I grabbed anti-aging products, actually, I think, and I did some keyword research. And again, you can do keyword research elsewhere. Basically, what I did for this keyword research was I went to Google Suggest. Okay, so, and I'll show you that just a little bit. So I went to google.com and I typed in anti-aging products, and I just played around with this. This is Google Suggest, and then I looked around at. Let me put that in again. Anti-aging products, and then I went to the Wonder Wheel, which I really like to play around with. So I just looked around until I found something that had just a few searches. All right, so again, I'm not going to go into detail about that, but that is the basic stuff. All right, so I picked anti-aging Kundalini. Those of you who don't know, Kundalini is a type of yoga, and I've been doing yoga for about, I don't know, almost 10 years now, I guess. And Kundalini is one of my favorite styles. So it just, when I saw that, I thought, wow, that's kind of cool. And I put in an exact match, only 6 results. If you want to know the significance of that, again, one of the older webinars, basically it means not too much competition for that. Okay, anti-aging, you know, is a huge niche. Sub-niche, Kundalini, right? Another sub-niche for anti-aging, creams. Anti-aging, whatever else was on there, right? Products, creams, face cream, anti-aging face cream is a sub-niche. Okay, so everything is somebody looking for something really, really specific. And in this case, anyone looking for anti-aging Kundalini is looking for some yoga poses that keep you from aging, right? So it's very clear to me what they want. I like the niche, and that's what I picked. So let's go back to our text document and see the example written out. So I picked anti-aging. I went to OfferVault. I clicked on the keyword tab for one of the products. I did some keyword research. I came up with anti-aging Kundalini. I searched for the domain name on Namecheap. Okay, here's Namecheap, and what I did was I typed it in, right? Anti-aging Kundalini, and I hit search, okay? And it came up with a bunch of possibilities. And instead of getting the .com for this, I just got the .info, and as you see, it's not available right now. It's taken because I purchased it, all right? It was cheap. It was like $2.99. That's why I like .infos. So that's Namecheap. And in the process of registering in Namecheap, and let me see if I don't want to skip around too much. Okay, here we go. So by domain, and I said use Namecheap and HostGator. Others are okay too. Okay, you might even buy the domain with the same place, the same registrar that's a server. Doesn't matter. But if you do use Namecheap, I want to show you the part of the process while you're purchasing. Okay, they let you select the name server settings. Name server settings, it's also called DNS on some servers, and basically DNS for domain name server. And these are mine right here in my HostGator account. So if I show you my HostGator account, you'll see that these are my specific name servers, and you'll have something else in your account, whether it's HostGator or any other host, and that's what you'll want to put here. And in HostGator, by the way, here's where you see those. If you scroll down to the bottom, here's my name servers right here, okay? So that's just for your information. It's on the bottom left, and account information in your HostGator account. All right, so I bought the domain right before, actually an hour before this this webinar, because I wanted to show you everything. I wanted to make sure everything was set. And bought it on Namecheap. Like I said, I pointed the DNS to HostGator. And then the next step is to do an add-on domain on HostGator. And here's what that looks like. HostGator has, like I said earlier, cPanel. So I'm in my cPanel here. And here's where I went. I clicked on add-on domains. And then I filled out the information. And I'll show you what that information looks like real quick. Okay, so I took a screenshot of that too, just so you could kind of get a feel for it. So when you click on add-on domains, it takes you here, and I just typed in the info. Okay, so I put in the domain name with the .info on it. I picked an FTP username, which I'll show you how we're going to use that in a minute, or actually in a few minutes. Okay, document root, this automatically populated. This is what turns out to be the directory, the name of the directory, and I like it to be the same as the domain name because it makes it very easy for me to figure out where it is when I'm looking around on the host. Okay, and the host is kind of like logging into a computer, and there's a bunch of directories. So if the directory's name is the name of the domain, it makes sense. It's easy for me to find. And finally, I typed in a password and I clicked Add Domain, and it added it. Okay, so that is the process of purchasing a domain, pointing the name servers to your host, and in the host adding that domain. Okay, it's kind of funny the first time you do it. After that, it's pretty easy. And let me see if there's any questions about that, and then I'll continue on. So Chris says Namecheap rocks. Yeah, I agree. I just learned about them literally a week ago. I had been using 1&1, which is a great host, but it just Namecheap, it's like seriously, I purchased the domain an hour before this webinar, and a minute after I purchased it, it was already set to the right DNS servers. It was already populating. Every time I've purchased a domain anywhere else, it's taken like at least 10 hours, sometimes 24 hours to finally populate. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, don't worry about that.
I'll give you a one-up on that as well, just from using Namecheap for a while now. But if you have domains registered elsewhere, you save money by moving them, and transferring a domain to Namecheap was the simplest of any place I've ever used before, and it worked right away. In fact, it worked so fast I had to double-check. They're great when it comes to moving things around. Absolutely great and simple.
Awesome, awesome. I appreciate that because I just might move all my domains there. So, okay, Blair's asking real quick if there's a way you can record this. Blair, this is getting recorded, and actually Rick is the recording genius that's going to get this on OfferVault for you, so absolutely. Jason wants me to say, hey, Jason. Hey, Jason. All right, can you auto-pull in? Orakwe, we're gonna talk about that in a second. Or actually, you're asking kind of a more detailed question, so I'll answer that later. That's a little bit more advanced. Okay, so Roxana's saying, please go slow when you talk about FileZilla and all the file transfer stuff. I usually freeze when this kind of talk starts. The language is freaky to me. Roxana, I'm glad you're here because the more you hear it, the more sense it's going to make over time. And feel free to tell me to repeat. I'm happy to do so. Blair's asking, what was the first one? Google. The first what, Blair? Ask me again, and I'll tell you. William is saying, are you going to talk about which methods used to drive traffic to those